Hello, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Tonight, 9 out of 10 police officers in West Yorkshire want to see frontline colleagues carrying tasers while out on patrol, and it seems they've been backed by the public.
But two-thirds of police say they don't want to carry guns. The figure shows a big change from research carried out before the recent terrorist attacks in Manchester and London. Here's our Home Affairs correspondent, Spencer Stokes.
Tasers, devices that deliver electric shocks to temporarily incapacitate a suspect. They were first introduced in the UK 14 years ago, with only a small number of specialist officers carrying them. But in West Yorkshire, there's growing support for all frontline police to be equipped. The Police Federation has carried out a survey showing 90% of respondents feel frontline colleagues should be issued with tasers whilst on patrol. That's an increase from 3 years ago, when nationally the figure was 74%. Meanwhile, 86% of the 6,000 people polled in West Yorkshire have said they support equipping police with tasers.
We had officers injured down at the London Bridge attack, and it's focused people's mind that actually there is a threat out there, officers run towards danger and they need to be equipped appropriately to deal with those threats. Officers felt that by carrying taser that they would keep the public safer, and overwhelmingly the public have supported that viewpoint. They feel that by officers carrying taser they would feel safer as well.
West Yorkshire Police say that equipping officers with tasers isn't something that should be taken lightly, but if it reduces the number of attacks on police, then they could consider it in the future. And those attacks aren't just terror related, because every day in West Yorkshire 4 police officers are assaulted.
It's okay, they have to be trusted to use it in the right circumstance, but I just think they would do.
If they do have tasers, they could get a little trigger happy with them also. I mean, not all, and I know not everybody's bad, and there are some good officers out there, but there's good and bad in everyone, isn't there?
If they feel unsafe, they should be able to taser them. They're not going to kill them, are they? They've not got guns.
There have, though, been a series of deaths over the last 14 years, and tasers have been fired at the wrong person. Ivan Martin was compensated after that happened.
Sometimes it's useful. Like I says, if there's a madman with an axe and that's the only way they're going to able to take this gentleman down, not a problem. But what worries me is the lack of training with some of these officers. You know, it's like shoot you now and talk to you later. That's exactly what happened to me. And their justification about it, they got the wrong person, still doesn't justify shooting someone first.
When it comes to arming with guns, the results of the survey are less clear. 65% of officers against, 64% of the public in favour. On tasers in West Yorkshire, there's a uniform view, both police and public supporting wider use. Spencer Stokes, BBC Look North.
Earlier I spoke to political blogger Richard Taylor, who campaigns against the rollout of tasers.
Well, the survey that we've got today was run by the Police Federation. I don't know if we get the same result if we had a properly representative survey run by a polling company. But what I'm really concerned about is maintaining policing by consent, and that means as opposed to policing by force. I think we've got something really valuable in this country where we have a tradition of unarmed policing, and I think that that's something that's really worth maintaining.
But it's a different world we're living in. We know what's happened recently with horrible terrorist attacks. Don't you think there is a public appetite for the police to offer more physical protection?
Well, whatever the public appetite is, I think this is a question for our elected representatives, for our police and crime commissioners and our MPs to consider on the basis of all the evidence. And of course, I want to live in a safe society, and I want to live in a society which is safe to be policed as well. I want police officers to be able to work without fear of being injured or killed.
Do you actually think then that the public perception would be changed if they knew that every frontline police officer was carrying a taser?
Well, I think we'd certainly have a very different feel of policing and a very different feel in the country. When I look to America and what I see there, when if you get something as simple as a traffic stop, the police officer will approach either with a drawn weapon or with a hand on a weapon. So you've always got that threat of really significant force in every interaction with a police officer. We don't have that in the UK at the moment, and I think that's something that's really worth keeping. And we've got to take a decision on who we arm and to what degree we arm them. Like, if you want to have the ability to have a force, either a taser or a firearm at every situation, then who do you want to arm? Do you want to arm security guards? Do you want to arm the bouncers on club doorways? Well, where do we draw the line? And I think actually at the moment we draw it in a pretty good place. We give our police officers who we ask to carry firearms, we give them a taser as a less lethal alternative.
Richard Taylor, thank you.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, 3 police stations in West Yorkshire are to close to try to save money.